Good morning, good morning. Morning. Looks like getting some strong bullish momentum coming in over here. Oh, I think we got a gap there on the daily. Yeah, looks like we got a gap over here. But we are seeing strong bullish momentum kicking in. Hey, good morning, everybody. Morning, Timbo. All right, guys. So we got a new week up ahead here. Let's lock in. I hope you all managed to do some back testing over the weekend, some journaling, just getting ready for this new week here. Because the market's going to throw at you the same tests. The same test from last week it's going to throw at you this week. So it's going to see if you studied. So hope you all are ready for this new week over here. It should be exciting. Should be exciting now. Because, you know, like sometimes in school sometimes we'd get that preliminary test. And it would be kind of close to the main test. So that's what this is. That's what the market is. Every single week. So I hope you all are ready. Because those same results, the same things you were doing last week are going to give you the same results this week. So let's get into it. Good habits going to build on top of good habits, right? Right now we're seeing price go up. It just actually had quite an aggressive move here. This was the London Open here, about like just about the London Open volume came in and has shot up already around 135 pips. Would have been a nice breakout. Wouldn't be surprised if anybody caught this breakout. TFX Concepts is like a really nice entry right over there at the break of the highs right here. Let me see in the Discord what we got. Last one got 2%. I was like, F it, I'm going to sleep. I thought on getting to fill a gap and let it run at BE. This would have been the biggest trade even for me. Would be up like 60%. Ah, very nice. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, as soon as it started breaking that high. Today, not my best hold and BE and not holding and running. Ooh. Wait, let me bring this. Yeah, it's sometimes like that, I guess. You gotta be... Some days you really got to be kind of more aggressive. Just like that Monday. Like, I kept trying to hold all those runners. Nothing was running until like my 5th trade. It sometimes be like that. When you got something specific in mind that you're looking for like this. When do I go to sleep? I usually try and get like 7 hours of sleep. This time I kind of slept in because it was raining last night. So whenever it rains, I just kind of black out there. Overslept. So I wasn't able to get into the pre-London. Also with London opening an hour earlier, it's a little bit challenging. But it gives me time to get the trades later anyway. During pre-New York. But I can see so far, London may have not had anything too juicy. Wait, maybe this buy here. Yeah, we could maybe caught this buy here. Or a sell. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, but it seems overall London hasn't been too juicy. Pre-London. Today it's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. I was actually expecting price on gold to continue coming down. We even opened with a gap there. Let's see what's going on. Gold falls as Trump's Hormuz blockade threats. Failed Iran talks raise inflation fears. Let's see. So gold prices fall as Trump threats to block the Strait of Hormuz. Raise fears of prolonged energy supply shock. Wait, now Trump is blocking it? What's going on here? Pushing oil back above $100. I don't understand. Wait, so Iran's blocking Hormuz and said Trump came in and said I can block it better? I don't get it. The fears of prolonged energy supply shock. Oh, is he trying to? He's trying to push oil up, probably, eh? Above $100 a barrel. The sharp decline in the oil price last week restored confidence in the deflationary narrative and revised prospects of Federal Reserve rate cuts later this year. Yeah, I mean, the rate cuts seem to be, I think Powell's talking about, we might see potentially 2 still by the end of the year. However, a surge in the oil price. But remember, Powell is leaving office by the summer months over there. Let's see. However, a surge in oil price is likely to put further rate cut hopes to bed now. Geopolitical risk typically boosts gold appeal as a safe haven asset, though a high interest environment weighs on the non-yielding metal. Fundamentals this year have been a mess, honestly. They've been like kind of hard to, well, now because it doesn't make sense, but earlier it was a little bit more straightforward once we understood that oil was going up and gold was going down. But now it seems that gold wants to move up. Weird. Anyway, not gonna think about it too much. Oil leaps dollar firms and stock wobble as US-Iran peace talk collapse. Let's see. Oil prices surged on Monday. Moved to impose a blockade on Iranian shipping after collapse of weekend peace talks. That's why I literally thought Monday would open and price would just completely be melting here in gold. It seems like we did get the initial gap though. Gap down. But it's trying to push up right now. It's interesting. Very interesting. It's got like a fat liquidity wick down over there as well. Oh, but on spot gold, it looks bearish. Spot gold looks like it did have the crazy dump. You can see right here. So on spot gold, we are technically down and trending bearish right now. It could be a pricing in potentially for price to obviously continue to move down later. I'll still be like happy to catch a sell and have a scenario like we had last week. Whenever like caught this sells and then price just completely melted, giving like extra pips. I think that would be nice. But this buy breakout here is quite decent as well. We were looking at a breakout of some accumulation over here on gold to move up. Looks like it peaked at around 61 pips. Now it's kind of correcting. We got like that really big rejection as you can see on the order flow here. Overall, interestingly enough, the buyers seem to be more in control. It could be a higher time frame absorption. I don't understand this war at all. I would focus more on the volume aspect of what the war is bringing than trying to figure out what Trump's next move is going to be. So if you're seeing more volume to the upside, you kind of want to be looking for those buys, and same for sells. But it could have been a gap fill as well. Why we moved up? This could have just been a gap fill, because what's the statistics on gaps? Like wow, what 70% of them get filled. So it could have just been a gap fill, and now we might start to move down. Time to control over Hormuz. Yeah, don't you must learn how to navigate these waters here, because you know, like, time's gonna move pretty fast. It's already April. It's already April here. We're in the second quarter of the year. So we gotta focus on the key things instead of trying to figure out what's gonna happen here with the news all the time. Just trade the market condition, right? Looks like we even got a gap on oil, but this is like a bullish gap that we have. You see, a bearish gap on gold makes sense, and a bullish gap on oil to continue to move up bullish. Obviously, like we have cracked through $100 a barrel. We're heading up towards that 120 mark, and obviously 150 ultimately as we approach ATH. Yeah, so this is where we're going to be heading up towards soon. So for me, I personally think like we'll see this go up, and then gold will be coming down. Just waiting for that to take shape again properly. But that's what we've been seeing the whole year. Correct? That's what we've been witnessing the whole year. So why speculate on things which have not yet happened? You know, like, the market doesn't really like speculation. It likes when things are a bit more concrete. So even you'll see sometimes when Trump tweets something, or, you know, something like uncertain, you'll see like a lot of wobbliness in the market. Like we saw last week when he spoke about the war increasing, and at the same time he wanted a peace. But there was like nothing concrete, you know. Then we had price come spike up, spike down, and then spike back up, and then came back down. So the market feels this. It's not random. So right now, as far as concrete goes, we have escalations again. Right? So this should mean gold prices should be, technically speaking, melting off. But we don't want to marry that bias too much, because if it doesn't melt off, then you can't sell a bullish market. Because sometimes, for example, the London will just be bullish. So as much as you want to sell, you're not going to get the sell in London. You know, I mean, the day might still end bearish, and that's going to be the overall idea for the market. But if you're just specifically trading a session and you're looking at that one bias and it's just not doing it, how are you going to catch it? Most likely going to catch it in the next session. Took a dub on gold during Asia, given BTC sold off of the weekend. I haven't looked at Bitcoin in a while. Let's see what's going on. Bitcoin's struggling here. Yeah, Bitcoin is just completely range bound. We have like a weekly resistance that we're trying to break above with BTC once we can get through at least this wick right over here by, this is like 76,208, and then you'll see Bitcoin maybe try and have a recovery. With Bitcoin fundamentals, you see, they're not as clear cut. They're not as, like, I would say they're not as mainstream and in your face unless you set up your socials like that. So I'm not exactly sure what's governing price right now. All I see is technicals, and I see accumulation here, and then possible distribution up to correct that range towards that 93 mark. So that's BTC. So once you start coming above here, you might be seeing some really nice PA on those intradays that you're looking at. Maybe some bullish trends. Look a lot more appetizing then. Right now, you're kind of like in the trenches. Whereas gold, I think gold right now, it's just had like a pull down. We've created this range on the left hand side, but maybe like a potential inverted here is at play. Inverted head and shoulders to try and break above this high to move up to fill that 5-minute range. Waiting for it to kind of like set up a little bit. It's a nice, actually no, kind of like a weak close there on the 1-minute candle that just closed. Kind of like a weak close. How do I use the read order flow indicator on the right? I use it to help me get out, like stay out of fake outs and, you know, like kind of understand who's in control, and, you know, that's gonna give me confidence in the move. So sometimes when I see a breakout, I'm not seeing what I want to see on the order flow, correct? So it kind of like makes me stay out just a bit so I can get a further confirmation, whether that's like a break of a wick, a continuation, and that's kind of what I use it for. So as you see right now, we're getting like buyer strength, and we're also getting quite a bit of orders coming in. So this for me looks like a healthy market so far. We're getting a lot of market participants in. So that's already looking interesting whenever we see orders flying in like that. Right? Makes it a lot more interesting to trade because traders move the market. We also got some kind of point of control area here, and it's like better telling you the story of what's going on. Because sometimes when we're just looking at the candle, we can only see like it move up and down, right? But then here you can kind of anticipate better like how the tables are changing or turning. So right now you can see overall bullish momentum. Previous sellers took over the previous hourly candle. This is still relatively okay. This is relatively strong, but it could definitely be better. Buyer aggression. I feel like buyers are in charge, but they're also kind of like what do you call it, cautious, which I can also see in the PA as well. How like a lot more wicks, a lot more consolidation, and I can see with these metrics too. Overall cumulative volume data is bullish, meaning that buyers have been kind of overall, you know, pushing price up, but with choppiness, which also makes sense here. Volume as well is pretty decent right now, but it's definitely like it's kind of like below the average of what I like to see. You're trading at 25 million. So just very simple, you know, I use it very simply. This line over here I use kind of for like divergence. Sometimes a divergence pops in. Hey Abdi, good morning. Morning. My broker, there's still a small gap. Is it filled? It looks like it got filled. I'm a deadly youth, I don't sleep. Your body will recover, no worries. If you're below 30 years old, you can put your body through anything and you'll be fine. Let's see. So we are now waiting for some momentum here, some setups, confirmations. Right now market just came down, so it's gonna kind of like set up here a little. Good sleep is key for longevity. Yes, sir. Cell regeneration and all that. Want to be like Wolverine in your later years. Key thing is just, you know, when you're gonna hit like 30, the key thing is to build a foundation for how you're gonna live the rest of your life. Up until then, you know, you're gonna get away with a lot of things. It's just like going to the gym, you know, like you're kind of building a lifestyle. So you can't cheat it. You can't cheat looking healthy, you know, it's earned. So it's just the same thing like in the markets. You can't cheat success. A lot of the time people try and cheat success. I also like think about trading in the beginning like I'm trying to cheat success. But you can't, because eventually it develops you into the character that you need to be successful, right? So the market, I don't think there's a profitable trader out there who had their same old bad habits who are actually being successful and consistent. Because it's going to warrant something from you for a certain result, just like going to the gym would. And I think that concept, it still takes a while for some people to understand, you know, like, but that's just character development. Within the first 6 months, I think that should become already pretty clear. It's what we call the humbling phase. But anyway, right now I'm waiting for waiting. Even that character development of waiting, super important. Super important. Play the long game. Trust me. The long game, it pays in life. It pays a lot in life. That's why, you know, the government and the police, they're all going to play the long game. They're really good at playing the long game. So whoever it is that they're trying to catch, they're going to catch, but with time. And, you know, when you play the long game, you're going to avoid like a lot of unnecessary escalations when you play the long game. So get good at playing the long game. They're stepping in now. You know, play the long game with the market basically is what we do. We just wait, we wait for a clear opening, and then we just attack, like just real fast, boom boom, and then out, and then just let it continue doing its thing, let it exhaust itself, then you attack. You know, the market's like a child sometimes. Like, you know, sometimes a kid gotta exhaust himself before you can start to reason with it, right? You just gotta let them exhaust themselves. They're like, okay, now we can talk. Choose peace is the way I like to look at it. Just choose peace. Not every reaction needs your response. Best is to choose peace. What's the most peaceful route given your circumstances? What's the best way to approach that specific situation where you have no control? So you're gonna choose peace up until that moment. We've created like some kind of a resistance over here. Then we got like another resistance up over here too. It's like about like 44 pips. A candle break above here and then fill up that range. At this moment, I've been struggling with not thinking about work while with the family and being there in the moment. It's definitely something that a lot of entrepreneurs and traders are going to be dealing with. Finding that balance. Because, you know, your brain never going to shut off, right? Especially when you need to grind, when you need that space. It's going to require a lot from you, a lot of sacrifices. It's the same thing also I like with Grant Cardone's story. He's told his wife that before he became this huge real estate mogul, he literally sat down with his wife and said, you know, this is how my life is going to be structured now. And I need you to know this, and I need you to support me in this journey. Because, you know, being an entrepreneur is cutthroat, man. It's going to take a lot from you, especially when things are not going your way. When things are going your way, man, it's awesome. But when things are not going your way, you sometimes need those periods to like really lock in. But, you know, you set those foundations up now so you don't have to worry about it later. You know, that's also the beautiful thing about that, because you get to know your own limits. Like, how much can you push in a day realistically? You get to understand those moments where you do need to lock in, and how you're going to navigate that with your family as well, and what you're going to expect. And it takes time, but man, like, let me tell you, like, the breakthrough is beautiful, man. because then you're going to know where your limits are at and how to deal with that situation. You will still face struggles, but you'll be better equipped to handle them sufficiently. So you got to be like very clear about these things, you know, when it comes to family and stuff. You kind of got to let them know. I got about like 13 seconds here. The candles looks like it's gonna close below resistance. I'm thinking like if on the 1 minute there we create some kind of resistance here, like it pushes up and creates a resistance and rebreaks 47.55, we might actually see like a pretty decent push at the upside. Thank you, MK man. Appreciate it. Great community here. I only started seeing success when I quit seeking validation from others, focused on mind, body, and started living for myself and my family. Exactly, bro. Because remember, validation from other people, it doesn't matter, because people want to see you do good, but they don't want to see you do better than them. So you gotta like, you know, stay on your lane. The best thing is to never seek validation. One, it'll cost you less, and it'll give you a lot more peace of mind. Because there's this thing called evil eye. You know, when you seek for a lot of validation, then you're gonna have this thing called evil eye as well. But if you don't seek for it and you just remain humble and just be comfortable with just the way you want to live, then I think that's a sweet spot. That's a sweet spot. When you seek validation, you become really angry. You know, you become like wanting to, and you can harness that anger, but like in a positive way, just to get better for yourself. You know, like watch this. Have you ever watched The Bear, the series of that cook? That actor from Skins, I forgot his name. So he was so mad at his family, and then instead of reacting negatively, he was like, I don't know, there's this pretty cool reel where he goes like, something snapped in me, and he was like, all right, watch this. Then he went to that Michelin star restaurant, and he came back with like all these skills, and he improved his family's restaurants. Like, it could be used in a positive way, you know, like that anger, that energy, that need for validation. But as long as you know that you're moving correctly, because you're human, right? You're gonna feel these emotions. You can't suppress them. But as long as you recognize them and you say, okay, I'm using this, and for XY reason, I understand why I'm feeling like this, but I'm gonna use it positively, right? So you gotta always like treat your subconscious like something that's kind of like underdeveloped, and then your brain and the way you think and emotionally react to situations is now that thing that makes the human race what it is today. Otherwise, you know, what's different from us than an animal if we're just gonna react? So I think, you know, it's always like that thing that you always have to remind yourself, especially the market, because I don't know, some of you might have taken a win today, or you might have taken a loss today, and you already wanted to, you know, like overtrade and revenge trade, and these are the things which are destroying your progress. You know, that inability to first of all just wait and understand like great things take time and not react. You know, can you explain for us about the fib? I don't use the fib. But fib is simple. When price is moving up and creating new higher highs, you want to just be looking for a retracement into what they call is a golden zone. So you see, like here, for example, daily bias is saying bullish. You're looking for more longs, right? So when price creates new higher high, you're waiting for a retracement. Hopefully a retracement with some kind of confluence, whether that's going to be golden zone. That's I think the 60, what's it called? The 60 and the 50 and 618. I'm not sure. But golden zone with a break and retest, maybe you're going to have like a structural break and retest with some SMAs Get the 8 and the 50 SMA over there. You know, like all this, you're using the flow of the market to your advantage. Right? So you're getting like a good entry on retracement for continuation using the flow of the market. And sometimes this thing you do with the fib, I like, it's called the drag in the bag. So you draw from here to here, golden zone, shoots up, and you draw from the next high, from the next low to next high, golden zone, shoots up, next low to the next high, golden zone, shoots up. That's what we call the drag and bag. So in some market conditions, that fib can actually, like, you know, be like really good. But you can never use a fib in ranging markets like this. It's not as nice. Longevity is the word. Yes, sir. What's up, Brian? Good morning. I see Goldie's still being a little stubborn here. But hopefully this week is going to be less of those kind of like pullback situations. We're about like halfway into this hourly candlestick. Last week we were getting a lot of situations where like this would happen. Like price would break and then start to pull down, break, pull down. It's slightly being stubborn right now. I think we need to just kind of like move from this zone. He's kind of like ranging in this zone. So it's not looking too good yet. But we're at a time of volume, so we should be seeing volume coming in. Yeah, we gotta be cautious about this. Right over here. You see that character? Range, pullbacks. Even you're gonna see with the wicks, it shows it in different ways. Because that on the lower time frame is also this. That wick over here on the lower time frame is this. So you can overall kind of like tell the character of the environment here, like this. And this is important for you because when it comes time to do those challenges and account flips, you're gonna need to know the difference. Hey Ashish, thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate it. Golden pocket is 65 to 65%. Yeah. Often reaction is 8.6. That's true. It's the last barrier for your trade. If it breaks through that, it's game over. Sometimes it's gonna respect it, so you can get out hopefully at a break even. Because a good retracement shouldn't even be testing those levels. Just the same way with my trades. At the moment I see it's hesitating, I try and get out, or I try and manage quickly. Because I know my good trades, they're never gonna give me like a hard time. The moment that trade gives you a hard time, chat, that is already a very strong signal you might lose that trade. How do I use the daily bias indicator? You can download it for free in the description box. When it says bullish, just look more for buys. When it says bearish, look more for sells. That's how we're going to use that one. But watch out for the gap. Sometimes when the gap, it misreads this. So you got to focus on the daily percent. So you see it says bullish right now. But that's because there's a gap. And it's taken from data from the candlestick. So in reality, because now it's a Monday open, obviously got market open, it's bearish. It's more bearish. We're down 0.76% on futures. Remember, smash the like button, guys. Support the channel. New week here. Hopefully get some nice stress-free trading. Sellers are getting in, but they're being absorbed. It's gearing up a breakout here soon. Question is whether the break coming from here. I think on futures it looks more like there. If it breaks above here by 47.56, and oh, now even the sells look pretty. It could be decent. Could be decent sell. I see there's some kind of reaction happening here, right at this level. I don't think that's an accident, and I also see some kind of like a potential move there. You might see some selling pressure come in once you start break below that low and buys above that high. You see, you just gotta be patient. Let the kid wear himself out, and then you gotta, you know, reason with him. So that's what it's doing. It's currently like setting up over here, getting ready for some. Yeah, it's coming down, coming down. Let's see. The sell would be a better play because the daily is bearish. Fundamentals are bearish. See, fundamentals have changed everything, honestly. Tough to trust technicals on the first day. 20% of the world's oil supply got cut off. Yeah. I think that move up was a small retracement because the daily had actually shot down a lot during the market open. It created like that gap. So this is just all like a pullback. I think for a continuation later today. But again, you know, don't marry the bias too much. We might actually end up taking a buy in the session. Because if the session's only moving up, what can we do? We can take, you know, what the market gives us. But if you just want to be disciplined, like, and you're working on yourself being disciplined, I would say most case scenarios, you want to like focus on where you think the market's going to go. So you don't put yourself in a scenario where you take a counter trend move, lose it, and then kind of like play a victim, you know? Because that's what you want to avoid in the beginning, is playing the victim. Because that victimhood, that's what makes you overtrade. Because you say, oh man, this doesn't count. But it does count. The worst thing, like, let me tell you how I built my discipline. The whole idea behind building discipline for me was I've never been disciplined like this before ever in my life. You know, so the whole idea was like, I have these rules, and these rules tell me I have to wait for something. But what used to happen in the beginning, I would always break that rule. I would always break that rule, and then I would try to like overtrade the rest of the day, because now, you know, you kind of like give up. You throw away the baby in the bathwater, as they say. It's typically what happens when things don't go your way in life. You tend to like throw away everything. Correct? So it's very difficult being disciplined, actually. So the whole idea was like, okay, so if I break the rule, I have to wait 24 hours until the next session. Now, I don't want to wait like a whole day so I can just take again another 1 to 2 trades. But this is what it took for me to stick to my rules. Understanding that if I mess up, I have to wait a whole day gone to waste. You know, you can always still paper trade and learn about the market and just show up and watch candles, etc. But that discipline, that's what that's going to look like. That one takes longer to build. So don't waste your day, man. You got like a whole weekend. You know, it's already been about 48 hours now over the weekend. The last thing you want to do is mess it up on that first trade and wait another 24, and that's your Monday right there. Where you could have been just 1% better, it's gone to waste. So you got to wait again. That's what that takes. That's why I always say, get your foundation right. Plan it over the weekend. What exactly it is you're planning on doing. Be crystal clear about the next move forward and run like hell in that direction. But first, make sure your shoelaces are tied. Everything is sorted. And when it's time to go, run like hell in that direction. You don't want to start running, you find out your shoelace untied. You know, like imagine that, doing like a freaking sprint and then your shoelace is untied. So take time on that foundation, you know. That's why athletes are gonna stretch, they're gonna do all of these things. The game is won before they get onto the field, right? This thing is about to explode in a certain direction here soon. I think on futures it's gonna be like 47.56 right here. This thing's about to explode. But the problem is, like, for the buys, we're just seeing some sort of like buy aggression, which is not that great. Buy aggression is not that great. Okay, it's increasing there now. It's starting to break. Yeah, I see the explosion is coming here. I told you. This was all just a setup. Now you're getting more market participants involved. See, they're getting ready. This was the break right here I'm talking about. So let's see how that plays out for them. So far, so good. So far, so good. It's filling that range. It's going on the 5-minute to fill that range. See, you can now see them kind of getting involved. Oh, what's gonna happen? You know, sometimes we're gonna help you to avoid fake outs. Just wait. Before you get in, usually, just wait like additional 10 seconds or so. How you get in usually, just wait. Just wait additionally. So you get a confirmation, but still just wait. Sometimes that also helps you with fake outs. Just still wait and then kind of like monitor a little bit. Oh, that would like push up already about like 20 pips. Typically when we expect to see that reaction anyway. So if you got filled in properly, that would have been like a TP or possibly a break even. Because for me, I don't like to play around like this too much. I mean, you can always. It's just a retest, but if you want like the easiest trades, then that's not typically what happens. But yeah. Every battle is won before every battle is won before it ever was fought. Yes. Even like, you know, with Conor McGregor. Remember like when Conor McGregor said exactly how he was going to knock the guy out. And then he did it. Yeah, it made it a bit difficult. Looks like Goldie's still up to its old tricks. For me, this should have just moved up like a little bit. If it's still gonna move up, it could have just moved up like from this point onwards. There's no point for that retracement. We just saw like some quick profit taking in and out of the market. You know, speed is something that has always been some kind of advantage. If you look at the olden days, the olden kingdoms, the kingdoms which use horses to deliver messages were not as prosperous as the ones which started using like pigeons, right? Because they would be getting the information about the wars and, you know, their enemies a lot faster with the pigeons, where the horses sometimes going to take a lot more time. So like speed has always been a virtue, and you know, it's just especially in situations like these, like that's why hedge funds and those companies or whatever, hedge funds, institutions, they make a lot of money based off of speed, right? Watch this movie. It's called The Hummingbird Project. It's about how speed and trading play like a very massive role. Because for me, it's always been like, if I can swim from point A to point B, it's usually the safest route. And it's the reason why you have like a lot of people like in the beginning do those news. They would pass challenges via news, right? Because maybe they suck at trading. Like most people are trying to pass a challenge. So they use speed to their advantage. So they wait for like CPI, NFP, so they can get that like speedy trade. It will get them to where they need to be quick. And you know, that's why funded programs, you know, they understand these things, and they're going to say you can't trade the news. You know, you can't hold a trade less than one minute. They understand this, so they're kind of gonna make it difficult for you. They're not like helping you be more disciplined. They understand what speed means in these markets. Even if you get information, if I give you a watch right now that could put you back in time even 2 or 1 second, you'd probably be a billionaire. But look at this. Man, price still moving up over here. You see, that's what I meant. Like, that pullback here was unnecessary. I feel like if it should have just moved, it should have just moved up like right here. But you see, that's the idea. That price was gearing something up here, so this could happen, right? So that's all what you require here is waiting. One more trade and a pass the account. Let's go. Let's go. Hopefully that happens here on a Monday. A pretty good way to start the week. Ball power. They should make fortune cookies for traders. And then you gotta open one every day, and it gives you like some sort of like a discipline, you know. But you see this? Man, pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. We don't have to take it. Remember, chat, you don't have to take every move. Just be okay with waiting. You see, for me, I understand this because I understand what was happening. I understand what the probability was for that move up. But I'm also not feeling like I'm missing out. I'm also feeling like I'm not missing out because I can sit on my hands and we get paid to wait. And it's also pretty good for like demonstration purposes here. But we're going to wait for the next one. The hourly candlestick is closing in about 8 minutes. Looks like we might still be pushing up for the London session towards like 47.90 over there. Now you see where that distribution is coming from? So if you see a bomber clap move, now you know exactly how that move developed. As it tries to run up over here.
Why are you running?
Am I doing NY? Yes. FOMO is one of the worst drugs. So it's a good way to train yourself then. To know when your setup is coming and then not take it. Some people, they can't control themselves. Like they lose control of their themselves. You see like those people who blow accounts. They know they're no longer in control. Isn't it? That's typically what happens when you start to overtrade. You know you're no longer in control. Really bad place to be. So you're gonna train yourself with certain tricks like this. I believe in karma, and the only reason I'm successful is because I cheered for others even while losing. It's nice. Yeah, I mean, you're never gonna like hate from above, right? The hate always comes from below. It's a reason why some birds, they don't look up usually because they don't expect to be getting attacked from up, so they never look up when they're flying. And if they ever get attacked by something, You know, when like a crow tries to attack an eagle, all the eagle gotta do is ascend, right? The eagle doesn't have to even pay attention to it. It just gotta ascend. And as it's ascending, the crow is gonna fall off. And then when it's up there, it never expects to be attacked by the crow from above. I'm gonna wait for this thing to set up here again. Look for potential continuation. Then the 15-minute, we still have like a little bit of range on the higher time frame to move up. So like the 1 hour is looking pretty clean up towards like, you know, 47.90 over there. So we're gonna monitor, keep an eye out on order flow. Right now we do see that the buyers are in control. We got some bullish nodes over here, a POC by 47.54, but I think that previous week point of control would be the target by 47.85. That's where price should be looking to head. Which is gonna be, it's within the range. That's previous week point of control. That's if we move up, right? It's a pretty big gap though. Like 226 pips towards that previous week point of control area there. But we're gonna see. I think it's breaking into a bigger range. It might be trying to do like over here. Trying to get enough steam to maybe move up, or we're gonna see what happens. It's likely to fill the gap and come down. Remember, smash a like button, guys. If you like some, you know, some kind of a education here. See bear flag on the 5-minute. Yeah, it's still kind of breaking key wicks and pulling down aggressively. You see, it just did the same thing over there. That's what I'm saying. Like, Goldie has been kind of stubborn since last week. Been really stubborn. You didn't see with like this break right over here, broke and then came down on that 1 minute, and then it broke the key high and then it pulled down again. Like trying to like give people whips. I think it might be looking to re-break that high. I might consider a buy above like that area here. I don't know much about the sell though. It could definitely be structured a bit better. I'm gonna wait, maybe just wait a bit more. So orders are kind of slowing down a little, slightly. I feel like there's a sneaky buy somewhere around here. I just wish those in that this PA on the left hand side is a bit confusing. But there's a sneaky buy at the break of this high. The reason why I'm calling it sneaky is because the sell is not clear, but the buy is slightly a bit more clear. I think what essentially happened was it just came down towards this accumulation area here, and it picked up some few orders, right? You see with that wick? That's kind of like a big wick. Look at that kind of liquidity grab situation here. That's why I'm anticipating a buy above this high by 47.62. And the new hourly is also about to close. I mean, about to open. Hourly open will help. 30 closing above resistance also. Yeah, I just got the new hourly open here. Put this here. 1, 2. Yeah, like that. $30-minute close above resistance. See hourly closure above as well. The hourly create a bottom wick. Holy, look at that buy aggression kind of stepping in there. Be nice for that candle to actually close bearish. Like that. If it's not clean, don't touch it. Well said, well said. If it's not clean, don't touch it. Like, I would like to see this new 5-minute here. Like, I would like to see this candle here push up, get a new 5-minute open. You just gotta be cautious about these little pullbacks within the highs. Because you see, we got this push up here. Then price pull down. So, I think it's like every time it creates new high. What we're looking for is like the pop through. But we're going to be cautious about that pullback too as well. Because that's what it's currently doing. You can even see like right over here. Break above, pop above, pull back down. Break above, pop above, pull back down. Now we got like some kind of a variable shift. Which is we have first of all the London open as well as a fat liquidity grab right over here. As some kind of a confluence for why we should be able to rip through that zone. Holy man, these buyers came out of nowhere. Trying to push aggressively. Why do I low-key feel like this thing is about to rip? It's still about to like really push overall through this area. The longer it takes to break out, the better. Feel like better if that 5-minute here like kind of closes first. Like 1 more minute. You gotta lock in here because it's gonna have a move soon somewhere. It's planning on having a move here soon. We'll see what this kind of a candle, this candle here is gonna do. Because I was thinking for a second maybe we would see like a liquidity grab below like 47.55 on this candlestick, and then it will rip back upwards. Kind of annoying, the wick is pretty long over here. That was that liquidity grab confluence. Because there's also a potential break here by 47.50. But we gotta get through like a kind of long wick, which is this. Let's see if we do end up getting a double liquidity grab here for the buy idea. We got like 2 minutes 40 seconds. This candle to close. If it pushes down, it's just trying to do like a wick fill of the previous 5. You see, we're kind of trading inside a trench right now. So we gotta be like very clear about the entry, because sometimes when you're trading inside like a trench, it's hard to see the confirmation, so you gotta like really focus. It's just some muddy waters, as they say. But I like it shaping up. You see, that's what I'd love to see here, is another liquidity grab. Just the same as we had here. Remember, it's a new hourly candle, so look at the way the new hourly candle here looks. It's created like a top wick. It's still like a doji right now, so it's all pretty fresh. It has not yet had a push. No volume on gold. Yeah, it's stunting a bit. It's battling that 8 SMA over here. It's acting like psychological support. Oh man, this is gearing up. It looks very clean for the buy. For the sell, would need some serious pressure to come in to get us through that wick. But I can see it's really cooking up here. It's just the same way. Remember, chat, like we just called this one here? The same thing is currently happening. Hey, what's up, IP? You look at futures chart now and not spot? Hey, it's been a while, eh? We've been trading for the past couple of weeks. Where you been? Remember, smash up that like button, guys. Support the channel. Feed the algorithm. If you find this channel here interesting, you know, if you hit the like button, it's gonna suggest to you the channel more, like when I go live and all of these things. Because that's how, I guess, the algorithm works. You see some people here, they're coming after 2 weeks and wondering why I'm trading futures now. It's because, you know, when the algorithm gonna feed you something, that's what you're gonna watch, like, realistically. So if you don't get this channel recommended to you, it's easy to forget. Happens to me a lot of the time. Like yesterday, there was this guy I used to watch. I'm like, damn, what happened to this guy? Man, I had to go and search his name just so I can start like watching him again. And then I'll go on his channel and I'll see he posted 8 hours ago, 12 hours ago. I'm like, what's up, YouTube? Why are you not suggesting me what I want to watch? YouTube is just like a version of basically what the television used to be. That's why they call it programming. Television. Tell-a-vision. And what do you watch when you watch? You go into a channel. So you're channeling some kind of interest towards something. They're channeling you somewhere. You know, they're going to program you. It's just, it's not crazy. It's what TV was meant for in the beginning. Television, the whole idea behind television was for propaganda. You know, whole idea behind, you know, let's say Facebook existed before Mark Zuckerberg Facebook. Like the CIA had their own version of Facebook. Just the same way that Bluetooth existed for 20 years before we knew about Bluetooth. Man, the internet probably already existed for like 20, 30 years before we knew about the internet. You know, that's what we call like the military. Anyway, we have a possible setup right over here. I'm just kind of like monitoring this price action. We got a potential sell below and a potential buy above. It's like kind of like cooking up here. I like the sell because it's below 47.56 area there. Wait, could it be better? Maybe it could look a little bit better. Wait, boom, boom, boom. Or see if this candle here breaks. However, I don't like the looks of the break above here. I think that's going to be more of a fake out as of right now. Because I'm still seeing aggressive selling. So I'm just going to monitor it. Yeah, I'm not going to take this. Unless they're trapping the sellers right here by 47.54. Would like to see if it could come down. See how that resistance builds. Yeah, you see, that's the thing you got to be cautious about, because we're still seeing seller aggression in there. There's still some seller aggression in there. Okay, top wick. Spot gold is attempting to break here. All right, let's go, Goldie. Putting my stop here to break even. Come on, let's melt. And I'm securing this about 1% right over here. W's in the shot. Perfect exit. Actually, on my broker, it looks like I exited like right here. I got in a better entry because spot gold was already breaking, so I didn't need to wait for the entry zone. But I think if you still got the entry zone here, yeah, a little bit of a later entry. But solid 1% in the books. So we're expecting it to still come down because I think this was just that liquidity grab. So I did not trust it when the buyers were trying to break above. Very suspicious. See that? And that's how I use order flow. And that exactly what you saw me do here was how I use order flow to avoid a fake out. Because if I didn't use order flow, I wanted to take that buy. That's why I put the entry zone there. I was about to take that buy. Then I realized, man, the sellers are still in control. So this most likely going to be a fake out. So instead of taking that trade, let me just wait. And you saw how quickly it reversed? You saw how quickly the sellers started coming in? Now we confirmed the trap via order flow and price action. So don't just chase signals on this channel because you know you're going to be sleeping on a skill that can make you millions if you're just chasing a signal. That means you're sleeping on skills which can make you into millionaires, basically. Don't always look for the shortcut, man. There's a lot of value here. See this? The same thing I did last week. Those same habits, they're going to create me the same results this week. Those same habits are going to create me the same results this week. Beautiful. Up 22% this month. Come on, Goldie, melt. Anybody still holding here? I don't know if it came... this entry here is looking quite different from what I'm seeing on spot gold. From what I'm seeing, the entry is like more up here. Because it hasn't retested the entry like fully. It came pretty close. Right here. Oh, actually it did. It did, like very slightly though. Maybe it's somewhere around here actually. Yeah, there's too many variations of price here because I actually secured about 20 pips. Because you know, the price action you see here, the price action you see here, and the price action on the broker, it can be off like just slightly. But according to my entry and exit, actually, it says my entry was here on my broker. That's really weird. It shows my entry was up here and my exit down here. Yeah, mad inconsistencies. Hey, but that's it. At the end of the day, you gotta follow on what do you call, like, percentage gains, right? That's why I don't use risk reward. I see like 1%, 2%. I'm just gonna secure it. That's super weird though. Literally, like right here, it says my entry and then my exit's here. That's 26 pips. On my broker, I literally secured 20 pips. If you want to use the same broker as me, links in the description box. They're a pretty nice broker. No complaints from me. I'm also speaking to the support team right now. They're trying to get the micro gold on the watch list. You guys secure something still in this trade? We're starting to see the pretty big gaps here as well, because that's a high confluence area right over here. Hey, what's up, Shalu? There's a bit of like a shotgun play as well. Does it look like... Oh, that's what it looks like. That's how it looks like right here. Yeah, super strange. Because my entry looks here in my broker, but at the same time with the previous candle, it looks like it did the shotgun play. I think that's a little bit more accurate, something like that. Shotgun play for the win. There's a shotgun play in confluence with the accumulation, breakout, with the fake out, with the order flow. And then we got like a nice little wick fill here. So that's, I think like that's why it like even came down towards that support and it's having that reaction there. Now the cleanest would be better if that wick did not exist, right? If there was no wick over here. But it's like a wick fill, trying to like mirror this area. You see how it's chopping up now? It's getting like a little bit aggressive on the 5-minute. A little bit more wicks are starting to build up. Trust me, like getting a profitable trade like this in an area like this, it's not easy, chat. Not a lot of people can do this. You're not getting the full distributions through yet. Morning star start forming on the 5-minute. Still going to visit that zone 100%. I should have held it, but I didn't. It's going more from what I backtested on the weekend. I mean, those buys are still looking pretty juicy, to be honest. There's a potential buy setup still to come above here. That's going to be by 47.62 area. I think that's what it's like ultimately getting ready for, it seems. Remember guys, smash the like button if you like free education over here. Why don't I hold my trade longer time? Because it's just filling the gap and later it will go back down. Because I'm just looking for percent. I'm just trying to get like every day I'm trying to get like 1 or 2% a trade. But you see, if I held the trade now, if I was being greedy, I'd have to deal with this unnecessary drawdown here. You know, that would be my trade basically. Now look, probably be getting stopped out by being greedy. Trading is like robbing a bank. You don't want to hang around too long, you know. Ooh, wow, look at that. Like quick reversal in the highs. But you know, to be honest with you, chat, like the traders I see who are holding this trades longer, like I think the way maybe you want to see or you're used to, they're going to have like way less monthly percentage gains than I do. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why I can end a month with so much percent gains. Like last month we did like 100%, which is just insane, right? And then the month before we did 50%, 70%. This month here is a bit slower, but you know, it's still pretty good here, 22%. If you notice that there's a difference between the way I trade and the way you watch other people trade, correct? Like there must be something that you can tell, which is different. I'm telling you, it's this aspect of following percentage gains. If that's what you're looking for, then that's what you got to focus on, right? If you're just looking to be right and have like a pretty trade and, you know, taking time to go take profit, you're going to get a different result. Pip and dip. Exactly, you know, kind of like just like a pip and dip. Pip and dip. We wait for the clean confirmations, the confluence areas where we see all these things lining up that make a good trade a good trade. We risk like, you know, 1 or 2% a trade, maybe 16, 20 pips stop loss, and that's it. And then move on to the next trade. Maybe take around 1 or 3 trades max per day. But it's good to start like this because now you have some kind of like what we call house money, right? So now we have house money. So we're going to go with New York session with some house money, compound that, and then try and end the day off with a bit of with something, you know, like something. If the market opens up and then we're going to be up like maybe 2%, then we're going to see like how we can risk it. It's like, remember yesterday on Friday, what happened on Friday, for example? Let me see. Did I post? Oh, I think I only posted on my Instagram. But man, we ended up catching that buy. Remember that buy breakout on Friday? We just ended up taking that buy because it was like a really, really good setup. And then made about 5% on that trade. I think a lot of people caught that buy, right? That was a pretty good buy to end off the week. We tried it once, we failed, and then, you know, the next 15-minute candle there opened and then it broke above. This was the one. I don't look at the sell just yet because of how much still the buyers. Wait, no, here, this was the one. Yeah, we took that buy here and then we took that other buy, which kind of like failed. And then the new 15-minute opened, broke above the high, kind of like a shotgun. But this was the idea that we were looking for, even on the previous one. So if you play it slow throughout the day, the market opens up in various ways. You're going to be surprised to end off the day with a 5% banger. But the idea is to play it slow, is to gradually play the market, right? So you see, we started, I think, 1%, then again another 1%-ish trade, and then we took a 1% loss, and then we took a 2,800 W here. Because it's also like the more you're on the chart, kind of, you get like a better read on price as the day is unfolding, right? So that's how it feels like. From the pre-London, it's quite early. If you get macro fundamentals come in, it's easier to get that read better. But you see on a day like this, it's not. So we have to play the trenches. Then we take that New York session trade. And as the day unfolds and you're managing your risk and you're being disciplined and patient, these moves, they're kind of like, you kind of get in these moves which just look really, really good because you're kind of plugged in now. Or you're kind of like more warmed up. So you also get that, what do you call it? That experience. But if you're trying to fight the market all at once, you know, you kind of like throw your day off. We're still getting a lot of a seller aggression here at the moment. This hourly still has not moved though. We should still be expecting this hourly candle here to move. It still hasn't moved, chat. So we'll see if the breakout can happen here because the price action on spot gold is looking quite interesting to get through like 47.29. But you see, this is already pretty close to breaking, whereas on futures needs a little bit more of a push to get towards that wick. Oh wait, wait, let's go on the 1 minute. Yeah, it's basically right here. Spot gold is getting ready to break. Oh, where is the volatility? There's also another area up over here. If it breaks above that zone. Oh, yep. Buyers coming in. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Holy. Yeah, it did the similar thing like how we caught this one when we had that fast reaction to the downside. It's kind of like a giveaway. But in this scenario, I'm not seeing much of a liquidity grab. In this scenario, I see like it broke this low here. That could have been the liquidity grab. The buyer aggression was coming in as well. We just wiped out the sellers here on the node. Yeah, but I told you it was cooking, right? I should have held it, but didn't. It's going more for what I backtest. Now it's coming up here, that ultimate breakout, which is going to be above the highs right here by 47.62. It's kind of like a bit of trench trading, you know, very difficult scenarios. You have to be very patient and you have to know exactly what it is you're looking for to avoid all these wicks. As I said, not a lot of people can trade this environment, chat. Right? I mean, even for you, even looking at it, like, I'm pretty sure you kind of like understand what's going on here. It's not an easy environment to trade. That's why I love TFX concepts. It kind of gets us inside these crevices a little bit sometimes to be able to at least grab something, you know? Because sometimes you got to be able to trade the trench. If you look at the market in general, the market 90% of the time, in my opinion, is consolidating. You're never going to always get the best conditions. You see like people on social media, they're complaining that every week is a red folder week. They're complaining, I don't know, about Trump. They're complaining about this and that. Man, that's all novice traders. They still don't understand completely what the market is. They don't understand it. The market is not going to be giving you the perfect environments to trade. Most of the time it's consolidating. I know in hindsight, there's this illusion that it makes that sometimes you think like you can catch these moves. But have you ever wondered why when you're actually trading, it's not as straightforward? Just think about it. It looks so good like it actually moves. You get these big moves. But when you're doing it in real time and you're waiting candle for candle to close, super difficult. Because you can't even get a candle go in your direction like this. But maybe that candle did this first and then did that. Correct? So it hides that consolidation within the candle's ticks as well. This is like a much higher level of trading that I think once you grasp that, you're going to understand the value of securing something. But if you don't grasp that, then, you know, like, you're still going to get that same result you've always gotten. That's just one thing about the market. If you're a losing trader, you're going to lose. If you're a winning trader, you're going to win. Sheesh, another liquidity grab, huh? Crazy. I'm telling you, chat, like Goldie has been on something since last week. But you see, it doesn't affect us because, you know, we're not greedy. Simple. Yeah, this thing is seriously doing some work on accounts, getting a lot of whips in. But there's another re-break of the highs here that could give like a potential push again. This other one, I think that first one that was mentioned over here, I think this was more of break even potentially. But you see that hourly, still pretty fresh. Look, oh my days, chat. Something's happening here. Holy. And it's so weird that all this started happening right after we took our trade. Man, there's another re-break down over here too. There's a break of the lows. Spot gold is already breaking. Holy, look at that little spike above here. Damn, Daniel. But I feel like we're going to see a big move. I feel like there's a lot of anticipation here. We're about to see a big move. New 1 minute's opening. It's creating a top wick. We're about to see a big move. This is what happens. Like, you know, when you put a lion in a cage, it gets frustrated, right? And it gets very dangerous when it's agitated in like a small space. That's what gold is right now. So, you know, once that gate opens, man, this thing's gonna jump out. You ever see those people in Pakistan feeding the lions? They like open up the gate slightly and then the lion just puts his hand out. It's like, hey, give me that meat. And then the guy is like, oh, holy, man, tries to close the gate. Well, the lion's arm is already out. That's what we're waiting here. It's like we're trying to feed a lion, but man, just let it put its paw outside the gate over here. This is gonna be the break of that wick. You're gonna see quite an aggressive move pop out. So that's the advantageous thing about these kind of market conditions, right? It's whenever they're compressed like this and volatile, man, you get stuck in properly, you're gonna be surprised. The kind of push you see. Of course, it's not the most ideal situation, right? Like, you'd rather get those pushes in like cleaner market environments, but that is a variable that happens in these conditions too. All right, so it did not give the break. Or the break is still in motion right now as we speak. But you see that the tricky thing about this sell idea here is also we still have buyers in control. They're still in control. So if it does sell off, it will be still like quite a very early entry. This is the point of control area. We're seeing buyers and sellers being active on this hourly. Since the hourly hasn't had a move yet, there's about 20 more minutes. Yeah, but it's a shitty market condition, to be honest. Like if you take a seller and plays out, it's pretty awesome, but order flow wise, it's definitely quite an early opportunity there. You'd just be banking off the fact that this is a potential liquidity grab above here, and we're about to see a big push. But yeah, not something I think I would personally take, but I do see the edge of a potential move. It's like a gamble. Let's think of it like a gambler trade, right? It's like, you know, sometimes you have these gambler moves that you gotta play, like, you know, in poker or in any sort of like sport. There's always like some kind of a gambler move that you can take, which can give like a good outcome, but you know, it might not be the best approach, but it depends on the situation. Yeah, we're gonna have to just watch this thing break out. Let me remove this. We still got 20 minutes for hourly closure. Risk it for the biscuit, as they say. Yeah, it's that type of trade, man. It's like I see it, but at the same time, it's like risk it for the biscuit type of trade. There's the bomber clut. Lion's trying to get out the cage now.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
It's like if you ever play golf games on your phone, sometimes, you know, like you can take a certain route. There's always like the easy and the hard route. You can take like the hard route, but it's gonna be like a shortcut. But you know, if you mess it up, you pretty much gonna give the game away if you're playing competitively. But if you get it, then you know you're gonna be in a very good position. That's what kind of a move this was over here. But it seems like it didn't like shake out the it didn't shake out the sellers over here, because that pullback was only about 11.8 pips. It didn't really shake them out. It broke the low, it pulled up like 11.8 pips. Now it's distributing for them. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the real move. So it took about 40 minutes for this hourly candle to give a real move. So if you notice, this hourly candle here, this push has been the only like real push, correct? So anybody who was trading this hourly candle, if they didn't catch this specific move, they didn't catch like the real move, correct? And you can break down markets just simply as that. Once you got like, you know, the TFX goggles on, you can see it. Because every hourly candle, maybe you're going to have like, let's say 2 or 3 moves, or 1 to 3 moves. So yeah, we did get entry setups. You could scalp them. You could make a % or 2 here and there. But this was the real move. So if you got a strategy, maybe you waited 40 minutes for this break, you know, pretty good. Yeah, I secured my piece over here. Nice. Yeah, this candle here gave only 1 real move so far. Write a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. Let me know if we're on the same page, guys. Let me not enjoy this information here by myself, because the whole idea is here is to spread some kind of a value, you know. So I already know this, but you know, if someone gonna understand this, I think, you know, my job here is done. Like, that's the whole idea behind a stream. It's not about the trade, it's about understanding how the market is also moving. Like, yeah, nice. Got some 1s over here. Good to know, good to know. Yeah, we got a bunch of orders flying in as well here on the order flow. Yeah, it was only just that 1 real move. You could have caught it with TFX concepts, but essentially, I think what would have happened for you then on this hourly candle would have been 1 win here, which is the one that I took, or that we took now. Another win here. Oh no, this would have been a break even. Unless you're risking 2%, sometimes I secure at 16 pips. Could have been a win or a break even there. And then you would have to kind of overtrade. You'd basically have to take 3 trades within this short time span to have caught the final one. But the good news is you would have been profitable on the previous 2 before catching this one. Wow, man. Look at this. Holy.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I think it was just trying to shake people out, the market. It did a lot of shaking out. You see here how it's like wicking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was shaking people out before the actual move. Man, now it's just ripping like nobody's business. Oil tops $100, gains, stock falls, and US moves to block Iran. Holy, look at that bleed. There's a waterfall here. Who caught it? Anybody in the chat catch that sell? Was anybody able to catch the sell? Let's see. It's blast my zone, lol, but I wasn't sure it would visit. It was doing that like kind of shaky business, you know. It's the same thing that happened to me what is it, like last week Tuesday. How does this trade, I think it was during the New York session, we caught a bomber clot, but it's because of the fluctuations kind of like spooked me out. It spooked me out, it pulled up like quickly and then just completely tanked. It kind of did that here, not too bad like in hindsight though. In hindsight it seems like that retracement wasn't too aggressive, was it? It just like pushed here and then pulled up like only about like 10 pips, correct? It wasn't too bad, I guess. But in the moment, it felt like different in the moment. Because of all the fake outs that were happening previously. Because the previous 2 trades weren't following through. They were given like 16, 20 pips. And then on the third one, you're always thinking like, man, if the previous 2 didn't follow through completely, what's going on here? But we could still see the edge, right? We could still see the edge of that. That's why I said it's one of those plays where it's like it's a bit risky, but you know that it's gonna pay out pretty well if it does pay out, correct? Oh man, I don't know, man. Yeah, we got a lion over here. Look at this. I always thought I was gonna own this as a pet. I don't know, something ever since like my early days, I always thought I was gonna own like animal like this one day. But yeah, man. Sometimes I can't even control my cat. How the hell am I gonna control this thing? Been a while, brother. Hey, Blade Zero in the chat. Let's go.
Something close to genius. Well, when he's around, you've always got a chance. Muchas gracias, afición. Este para vosotros.
Let's go. Let's go. Nice to see you here, sir. Hey guys, remember, leave a like on the stream if you're gonna find some value here. Yeah, I've been good, buddy. Tall Trader said you're coming back into trading, so good to see that you're back on the charts. What happened? What have you been doing all this time? Man, with all this commotion with Trump, what have you been doing? How have you been controlling yourself not to trade? Turning on the news, looking at oil going up, gold moving down. Tell you, like, trading is one thing. When you see the charts, you're never gonna unsee them again. Any point in time in your life from this point onwards, you're gonna know what a candlestick is. Wherever you see it, you're just gonna always remember this. You will never unsee trading. Never. Gonna see like lightning in the cloud. You're gonna see some kind of a trend line. Yeah, so I think that distribution is done now. You could have caught it. It would have taken you 3 tries. You'd have had to hit it 3 times. Trump tempted you back in gold. Nice. And we haven't seen, like, you know, it's still the beginning of the second quarter, so we still got the whole year ahead of us. So I do believe we've yet to see the best. Even though last month was an incredible month, we've yet to see the best. Did you see Trump posted a picture showing himself with Jesus Christ? No. Basically, I had to liquidate all my trading accounts to help my family, try to save my businesses that died from the market changes and the wars. I feel you. Then I had to make some money and fix some stuff in real life. Now I'm back in trading. Awesome, man. I'm glad to have you back, bro. But I'm gonna head out here, guys. I will see you during New York session. Let's continue to smash the markets. And yeah, I will be trading the New York session this week as well. Remember to drop a like on the video, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.